The Tech Disruptors podcast is brought to you by the Average Dad Tech Store. Get all of your latest and greatest tech at averagedadofficial.com.
My left video just went viral.
I'ma strike back and take your whole empire. Spontaneous combustion. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
Hello, welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren, and my lovely co-host is
Jason.
And my other co-host is
Devin.
And special guest today joining us, the man that knows everything there is to know about Android, Mishal Rahman. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I usually don't do podcast recordings on Sundays, so it's kind of a nice change of pace. Usually I do podcasts on like Tuesday night after an absolute blockbuster day of news and stuff, and it's nice to not have any mental stress going into this thing.
Well, listen, Mishal, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no mental stress here on the Tech Disruptors podcast because we're all about keeping it chill and calm, and by no means are we inciting fear about AI or anything else on this show. Jason and Devin, I had the privilege of meeting Mishal on the OnePlus event back in December, and since then I've been following his journey into everything Android on X and a couple other social media platforms. So, Mishal, I'll just start with you. For people who don't know who you are, do you want to just give us a quick rundown on what it is that you do and where you do what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a blogger. I primarily write posts on androidauthority.com. I also do my own podcast called Android Faithful. And as you can tell by the names of those two websites, we focus on Android, mobile operating system. So everything Android, new features in the operating system, new mobile phones running Android, and all sorts of other mobile tech-related stuff.
Awesome. Now, Mishal, I'll ask you right off the cuff, what's the Android device you're currently rocking? Because that's what everyone would want to know, just being a predominantly software guy.
If I'm being truthful, I can't answer that question right now. Ask me again in like a week.
Oh, okay. Fair. What were you using before that, then?
I was using the OnePlus 13.
Okay. Interesting.
I have a quick question. So, as an Android guy, I prefer Android too, but I've in both camps just to kind of know. What are your thoughts on the 16E, the iPhone 16E that we just announced?
Well, let's say I'm not much of an iPhone guy, but from what I've seen, like the reactions to it online, people are kind of disappointed in general with like the value that's on offer and what you're getting. Like, sure, they added Apple Intelligence features, but like most people don't really care about that. Right,
well,
they wanted the premium features. They wanted ultra wideband so they could use precision finding and car key, but you don't have that. Yeah. They wanted other features that are not like MagSafe. That's a big one. Like you don't have MagSafe compatibility with the 16E. So like, and the price is $599 or was it $699? $599, right?
$899 in Canada.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The price is pretty bad outside of the US. And even in the US, there are like other phones, Android phones, that are coming or already available that offer a really great value in comparison.
Okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the iPhone 16e, but so here's the thing. I don't want to say I like it. I don't. I like the design. I like the simplicity of it. I do wish they hadn't used that fucking notch. Like, I think that's just fucking dumb at this point in time. Like, to bring that back or rekindle.
I made back in the 90s, like Chevy would make a Chevy, a Buick, an Oldsmobile, Pontiac, all the same vehicle, but they use the same parts bin, I should say. So it seems like Apple, a lot of times with these SEs and these cheaper versions, they go to the parts bin, they take what they had, refurbish it, and make another phone saying it's new. Now, I know Mishal said, Apple Intelligence, but from what I've seen so far, Apple Intelligence really hasn't come into its own yet. So I don't know if that's really, it's not really.
Are you saying it's not very intelligent?
That's an understatement.
Yeah. I mean, the omission. I understand trying to bring the price point down, but the price point went up. So, surely in their parts bin, they've got the MagSafe part. They've got this camera sensor. Like, imagine, what I imagine? Like, a bin, like these little plastic, dollar store bins of just all these different components, and it's just some guy going click, 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 click. Yeah, this is good. But the price went up.
$3.99 would have been a great value for $3.99.
And I just went and looked on Swappa. You can get a used iPhone 15 Pro Max, Pro Max for $597.
There you go. So why would you buy it? I mean, again, people are dumb, and they'll just go to an Apple store and say, "Oh, it's new, it's small, it's one camera. Oh, I like it." Sure. I've been looking at my iPhone 12 or 11 or whatever the hell it's based on. I don't know. I like the look, the simplicity, the minimalistic look. But Apple's always good in design. That's never an issue. But the omissions just seem.
You're getting really hard.
Yeah, you're cutting out. Your volume's gone out.
Sorry. Is that better now?
Yeah.
There you go.
But what's interesting though, you said though, like the iPhone, like the event, I didn't watch it. I rewatched it, and it's like it's 2 cameras in one. No, it's just cropping the main sensor. What are you talking about? You're not doing anything different.
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, the general public is what they're aiming for. It's not people like, I don't want to say people like us, but people who are more in the tech. We see that, but I think it's either going to be a hot seller or it's going to be an Apple 5C or a mini, and it's going to go away to the wayside.
Yeah.
I think it's going 5C way, personally. It's definitely going 5C way.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, we'll come back to Apple a little later on. So, Michelle, I'm going to assume that the phone that you're not talking about is one that we're kind of hotly anticipating, both Jason, Devin, and I. Coming from a Chinese phone manufacturer, maybe, pretty good cameras, but we won't push your buttons because I know he's probably under embargo, so I don't want to get too excited. But anyway, let's talk Android for a second. So Michelle, we're now almost at February. At March. I'm 1 month behind. We're almost at March. What do you see being the device to look out for this year in Android?
If you asked me that a few days ago, I would have said the Oppo Find N5. But considering they already just announced that, like that's the device I was most excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then they just got announced.
Have you played with it?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, I mean, I want to get my hands on it so bad.
Me too. Like the general reaction, everyone is like, "This is the end game of foldables."
Yeah.
Like, I think Marquez Brownlee's his YouTube video on that phone was like, "Are foldables cooked?"
Yeah.
Because like, where do you go from here?
Exactly.
After, like,
What
they've
else
already
do you do?
perfected the thinness. You can't get any thinner than what you have in the Find N5. Like physically, you can't even add a USB-C port on a phone that's even thinner than that.
Yeah. What do you do?
Like, where do you go?
Yeah. Now, we were talking about this last week on the show, about how OnePlus were not going to release the OnePlus Open 2, which makes sense, skip a year. Do you think Google's going to follow suit too?
Do you think? I don't know what their plans are for a foldable this year, if they are working on one.
Because we haven't heard anything, and I find it weird.
I saw
we
a leak.
haven't heard anything.
They talked about the 10 series, and I thought that a 10 Fold Pro or whatever they want to call it. I thought that was in the works. I thought.
I did hear for like there were leaks that they are working on new foldables. I don't know if there's another generation this year, but if they don't, that would be a big disappointment because like with OnePlus leaving the U.S. and even Europe. Like, I think I just read that Oppo won't be releasing the Find N5 in Europe either.
Europe, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's going to be... It's just Samsung and Google.
That's it.
And if Google leaves, it's just Samsung.
Yeah.
Apple, whatever they release.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Find N5 undoubtedly... like, if you've seen these photos, you've seen these videos. It's insanely a good-looking device. Like, and it's pretty much what everybody wants in hardware. Devin, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, outside of if I were to be interested in a foldable, it would be, something like that, clearly, right? But
yeah,
I'm just as peak of a foldable as that is, I have so little desire to own it. at this point, just
Wow,
because I'm
okay.
not I've had my share of foldables, and they're not for me. But I
So
agree, it looks awesome. I'd love to play with it. I would love to take it for a test spin, but I have like zero desire to want to purchase one for myself.
So, Michelle, Jason, Devin, and I are kind of all in the same boat when it comes to foldables. We're kind of a little bit over them. And there are different reasons, cost, durability concerns. The cameras are not always on par with, the best of the best. I know you were using a OnePlus Open when we were on the OnePlus event, and you seemed like pretty happy with the OnePlus Open, if I've got that right.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's mostly because like I just love being able to open the screen and have a bigger canvas to view stuff. It's just really convenient for me. It's one of those things that either clicks with you, you get it, you find some use case that once you try it on a regular slab phone, you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And
Now,
that's when it clicks for you.
Now, my question would be then, so if the OnePlus Open would you argue that was probably your favorite device last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were going to choose another foldable phone this year, would you be going for the N5? Or are you waiting to see?
I mean, they're not going to release the Open 2.
Yeah.
That's not happening. They already confirmed that. There's
Yeah.
no Find N5 in Europe. Like, so their global launch is like what, a couple of Asian countries outside of China, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Probably,
I mean, I'm not gonna get my hands on one. I'd like to, but
Did you
they're
ever
not gonna
try the
release it.
Magic V3?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so the Magic V3 for me was probably about as close as it came to me fully switching to like a folding device, because that had what I considered the perfect form factor at the time. Maybe not anymore. But the software with the Honor was just terrible. Like, not terrible, it takes a lot of getting used to, and I just couldn't handle that.
Well, we know with the Honor Magic 7 Pro, fantastic phone. Software just wasn't it. But it's it's an acquired taste. My thing with foldables is like I love the open, but I didn't like the aspect ratio when it was open. I didn't like the square. Like I know that's what iPad is, and I like the widescreen because especially for content, like you open it up, it's not. You get those big black bars. It's not much of a benefit. Now there's other benefits to opening a screen. You have more panels and you can multitask better. I get that, but for strictly consumption of media, I didn't find it to be that great. But I'm not totally against foldables. If I'm going to get a foldable, it's not going to be a flip device because a flip device isn't very well used when closed. You have to have it open to do much of anything. The book style is what I'd like. I like the original Google Fold, the way the aspect ratio was when open.
Yeah, you and everyone else.
But it just didn't open all the way, and it was slow, and it got overheated easily. I don't know. We'll see. The N5 I'd like to try. Me and Darren tend to import a lot of phones.
Yeah.
We had the Vivo,
too
the
many.
Honor. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to import a foldable just because of warranty issues and durability, like we've said. So
Yeah.
Now,
it costs
it's
more
funny.
to replace it than,
Oh, that's
than like
exactly
buying
right.
a new one at that point.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so I was funny because I was looking at importing the Find N5. $2,700 Canadian would be the cheapest.
What about the Huawei XT? How much would that cost to get you in?
Oh, it was almost $5,000. Almost $5,000. It was 4,800. Yeah. So I mean, I would love to be able to say that I make enough money to comfortably be able to just order that on a whim, but unfortunately, that's definitely not me. I'm hoping maybe my Oppo contacts come through, and I might be able to get one in my hand at least temporarily. But I guess that's a wait and see kind of game. However, I will say this. So I've been getting a lot of emails about MWC and in particular Honor. I think we're going to see the V4 at MWC.
I hope so.
I really do. I have a funny feeling that might be coming. That's how they're going to directly kind of compete with the N5. Like I know the N5 just came out. It's the thinnest foldable. I don't think Honor's going to beat them in thinness. I think we're done with that. But I think they might match it. So they might match it with its look and design. Probably better cameras. New.
Well, let me ask you about the software. So on
Yeah.
the Honor, the one big nitpick I had was when you swipe down from one side, you get the notification. You swipe down the
Yeah.
other, you get the quick access, and you couldn't turn it off. Samsung did the same damn thing
Yeah.
with the S25. Can you
25,
turn-
yeah.
I haven't tried to turn it off, but can it be turned off?
It can be turned off.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a way.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. I wanted to be able to swipe down and see all my notifications and all my quick stuff. And that's one thing that drove me nuts about the Honor. I know it sounds nitpicky, but that's one thing about software. Android's supposed to be able to be customized to you. So make it how you want it, but let us change it the way we want to.
Well, I have
Yeah.
some bad news for you because Google is doing the same thing in
Of course they are.
Android,
Of course
some
they-
some future release.
Oh boy.
But we can turn it off and change it, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. I remember seeing that posted somewhere that they were exploring that split screen, that split notifications thing. That for me, that wasn't what the Honor thing bothered me. That, I mean, it did a little bit because you know how you have app icon alerts, like the little dot saying you've got a notification. On the Honor, that notification dot would not go away unless you opened the other side and swiped away your notifications, which used to drive me insane.
And if I remember correctly, you can only swipe one way to get it to go away,
Yes.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
drove
that.
me
Yeah.
freaking insane.
Yeah, there's just little nitpicks like that, and you know, at first you kind of like, okay, it's a little different way of doing things, but then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell? I'm doing this all the time. I can only swipe.
Yeah, but
one
actually,
way.
after using the Magic Honor, the 7 Pro, and then the S25 Ultra,
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me as much, that split notification thing, but I still get caught pulling it down, like, oh shit, the wrong side. You know, I have to go to the
Yeah.
other side.
yeah. But didn't iPhone start that?
iPhone's got way too many menus.
Because
Every
I'm
direction
sure it
is
was
scroll.
iPhone that started that trend,
Yes.
because they had the swipe down for the control center and then the swipe down for whatever the other shit side was.
What do they call when you swipe all the way to the left? Or the right? It's like the folders, or like, I don't know what they call it.
The app library.
Oh my god, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
that's-
terrible. It drives me insane. It really does, but whatever.
This is actually the first time in quite some time that I don't own an Apple device side by side with an Android device. I only have Android devices right now. And I find that, I mean, for me, like, I'll be honest with you, like I've told you,
Terrible.
I've done this podcast before, my iPhone 15 Pro Max, like my 14 Pro Max before it, sat on my bookshelf here for the better part of the year because I had no interest in using it. So I just thought this year, I used it to trade in for the Ultra. I traded in, got an amazing trade-in deal here in Canada, which is very rare in Canada. And now the Ultra is my quote-unquote, like, primary device, and everything else I'm reviewing is my supplementary devices. So it's a crazy kind of world and kind of thing that we live in. But again, you get used to certain things, right?
Right.
Split screen notification. I don't know. One day. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some things that caught our attention this week. And I actually want to start with this one because this was an article I just caught today. And it got me thinking, we didn't see one death of a tech product this week. We saw 3.
The trifecta.
A trifecta. So I'm going to pull up this article. This is from Android Police.
Products are dying left and right.
So really good. This was actually a really good one because they talk about 3 things that died this week. Now, one you probably already know, and that was Humane right here. So the Humane AI pin was bought, killed, and died within what? 48 hours?
Hey,
And
to their credit, Rabbit's still kicking, and they offered free Rabbit devices
yes.
to a lot of the Humane owners. I still have my Rabbit. I don't have it down here right now, but I still have it. They keep kicking out updates. It's a hell of a device now. So, anyways.
Now, if we were to go back to the Tech Disruptors podcast and rewind back in history, when this was launched, maybe a week or 2 after it, and there were a lot of complaints coming out, I think, Jason, you and I both said, this thing is going to find the wastebasket before we know it. And it lasted, what, a year? Maybe a little
I
less?
think we both originally pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it, canceled it, pre-ordered it,
Me
canceled
too.
it, pre-ordered it, canceled it. And I'm so glad when they dropped the price to what, $4.99, whatever it was, I didn't jump out and buy it. HP's they're just getting all the whatever, they can.
You're buying probably all the tech behind it.
There was
right?
an
I mean,
OS
it's
they made too. I forget what it was called. They had an OS
Yeah.
they were working on too. So
I hope you all are
Yeah.
ready for AI printers.
Yes,
Well,
that's
no,
exactly right.
remember,
Your humane
HP.
pin?
Hey, HP's responsible for killing out Palm too. They bought Palm, and remember the fire sales of those tablets? I got 4 or 5 of those damn things to put Android on them. It was amazing.
Oh,
But
HP
yeah,
is for dead products that go to be buried.
That's right. Yeah.
take them out back.
So basically, I think it's this week it officially shuts down. I think the 28th. Maybe I got that date wrong. Maybe check that. But so HB has bought Humane AI and has decided to retire.
I'm really hoping
it.
XDA developers, like someone jumps on this thing and does something
Yeah, like
with
the
it. 'Cause
Pebble Watch.
It's a
That'd be
hell of
amazing.
well, it's just a hell of a. I mean, the device itself, from what I've heard, is made really well. It's just maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't completed. I think if someone smart enough can get out there and have a second use for it, maybe I don't know.
You know
I mean,
what I want them to
technically,
do?
it does run Android.
Right.
Yeah.
It is an Android-based operating system.
So
You could
it
do a
could
lot of
be done.
things with it, I'm sure. What is it? A Snapdragon 7? No, I'm thinking of the Rabbit. There's a Snapdragon.
It also has,
processor.
I think, it also has some Snapdragon or MediaTek or something, but something that's
Yeah.
compatible with Android.
LTE installed. Come on, you got a lot of options.
Only
like
problem
cameras,
is there's no
lasers.
display. So like,
Yes.
how are you gonna make something work with that projector they have? It's like that's
You
like
know
the
what?
only fully custom thing they have on there.
That's true.
You know what I would love to see? Someone hack it where you can project with that laser like a digital avatar on your desk or like something like that. Just something cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm thinking of here, just so you know? Like
Okay.
R2D2 projecting like Princess Leia style.
Help me, Obi-Wan
Like, I would-
Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Yeah, I would love to see someone. If someone could
Okay.
hack a Humane AI pin, listen here, right here. Please make that a thing. Even if it's like that green bit graphics that the Humane AI uses, I would love to see someone hack their AI pin to make that a reality because I think that would be just fucking amazing. But it probably won't be. Now, other products that also hit the death bin this week: Amazon's App Store.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Well, I mean,
I didn't know
the
that
5
was still
people.
around.
Yeah, the 5 people that used it might be upset.
What I was confused about, I was reading about that, and it said something like it's still going to be available on their tablets, maybe?
Yeah, it's
just
only
not that.
dying for Android, and they're using like the legal term of Android. So
Right.
like
Who the hell
technically
downloaded
none
an
of their
Android?
Fire devices run Android. They can't use the
Well,
word like Android.
Yeah.
Forked version, they say. Yeah.
Right.
So basically,
So
if you are
Amazon
in,
for
Amazon,
Fire TV still surviving.
But wait, here's the bigger question, Darren.
Yeah.
Who the hell who has straight Android is downloading the Amazon App Store? That's what I want to know.
Well, okay.
Unless you're
So
still-
You
your
answered
Fire phone.
now you know why they're killing it.
now you know what they say. I will say this much though. So you remember back in the day when Huawei first got banned and you couldn't download apps from the App Store. People were actually going to the Amazon App Store because a lot of the apps were
yeah.
available there, and that's how they were accessing it as a third party quote unquote download. So there was a reality for the Amazon App Store at one point in Amazon and maybe Android's history. But, you know, how am I going to download, you know, all of the same apps that I could get on the Google Play Store? I don't know.
I mean, you also think about the typical person that probably has like a Kindle tablet,
Yeah.
right? You think probably a lot of kids because they're super cheap. You read stuff. A lot of older people because they're super cheap. They're really easy to
Yeah.
use. They can read books on them. The people that don't know the difference between the Google Play Store and the Amazon Store, App Store, like, hey, I've always gotten my apps from the Amazon App Store. Like, give me
Yeah,
that on my
okay.
phone too. Download
Yeah.
all the same apps.
Devin, are
Well-
you talking about yourself? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
It's been a while since I've had a Kindle, but
yeah.
But I think the whole play with the Amazon App Store, I think, was that you could sideload Android apps onto their tablets at one point. I think that's why it existed. That reality existed. But unfortunately, all those, 12 Amazon, Fire tablet users that exist out there.
Well, I still have the Fire phone. Will it still work on my Fire phone?
Probably
man.
not.
That holographic display really does it for me, you know.
Is that what? Yeah, I remember going to Buffalo because we would go to Buffalo to go buy American products when it was cheap, not when we had a 8,000% tariff. But when we used to go to Buffalo, I remember being in a Target and walking past the display, and they had the Amazon Fire Phone. I think it might have been at the time like $49. Like it literally was a clear out sale. I almost bought one, but I wasn't sure if it was going to work.
Here's what you need to do. Here's what I did. I think they were like 800 to 500. I can't remember when they were. When they started clearancing them, I bought like 5 of them for like $50, and you got a free year of Prime. And then I'd sell the phone for $50 and get my money back, and then have 5 years of Prime.
Hey, that's not a bad deal.
Nice.
I know. Now you can't do that, but
that's Jason's side hustle right there. Selling.
I don't think it works anymore. Amazon's like, who the hell's activating a Fire Phone?
Now the last one is Chromecast. So Michelle, you might be able to give us a little bit of insight on this one. So they're not selling Chromecast on the Google store anymore. So do you know anything about this, Michelle?
I mean, the writing was on the wall for this when they announced the Google TV streamer, which didn't have Chromecast branding. And they already mentioned at the time that they were going to discontinue the Chromecast with Google TV. They weren't going to sell any more of them. And they had already rebranded the Chromecast, the protocol, the casting from your phone, to just Google Cast.
Yeah.
So, like, it's an iconic brand, but it's already been like a year since they've kind of moved away from using that brand.
Yeah.
And now it's just official. You can't buy them anymore.
What happens to the people that have them? Are they going to stop supporting them? Do we know that?
No, they're still going to work. Like, you have a Chromecast or Google TV, they'll still work. They're still slated to get some more updates, but after that, there's just not going to be any more Chromecast hardware. New hardware, at least.
Yeah.
Isn't this pretty normal for Google, though, to change names like 6 times on something? I mean...
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
They don't just say kill things off, they just change the names a million times.
Well, I mean, I think when they change it to the TV streamer, I have one of the TV streamers, and it's very good.
It's good, yeah.
I also have a Chromecast on my other TV, which
a what?
We don't. Really good.
They're not Chromecast anymore.
Oh, sorry. It's just the Google TV thing that plugs in, which will now be what it's known as. What do you think to sell those off? Because they were sold in like Costco's and all of that. They were everywhere. The Chromecasts. How much are they going to drop to? $20, $10, $9.99.
I have no idea. I mean, they're eventually going. They're already so cheap.
Yeah, I know. But if they're trying to clear them out so they can only have the streamer like as their fundamental streaming device, will they go on a $10
or something? Like
that's what I'm saying. You might be able to pick one up for like $10, and that's.
I remember when I think I still have it. The Music Cast one they had. It was black and had like I thought that was amazing. Now everything's
people still love that because there's a lot of old like audio hardware that don't support Bluetooth or any kind of Wi-Fi casting, so still very useful to have. I think there's a lot of people who still love those things. The Chromecast audio.
Yes, that's what it was.
Speaking of products that are getting a new lease on life, there was an article that came out, and Jason had this on his run today too. We might actually see a Lumia iPhone in our lifetime.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I want to pull up this article here. So this was an article that came out this week. So somebody has taken a Nokia Lumia device and crammed, I think it's an iPhone SE 3 into the chassis. So this is kind of what the Lumia originally looked like. So just to kind of give you some,
I miss Windows OS.
What a beautiful phone. Yeah. Like, look how nice that is. It's just stunning. But I don't know why someone would think to do this, but they decided that, this is what it looked like. Look at that. I had that like a 41 megapixel camera. Like
I used to have that phone. It was amazing. The shutter speed was terrible.
Yeah, of course.
I still have mine downstairs.
It takes fantastic pictures. It really does.
So someone has repurposed it. Let me see if I can. Oh, is there no photo? Let me see if I can find a photo of it. I had it just a few seconds ago. But they took an iPhone SE from 2022 and crammed an iPhone into it. So let me just give me a second. I'll see if I can.
It would have been more exciting if they would have got iOS on it somehow. Because you have to jailbreak and hackery and all kinds of stuff you'd have to do to get it to run. I would think that would be more impressive to get it on the old hardware. But I'm assuming this is much easier.
So They took the chassis of a Lumia and they took their iPhone SE. I don't know how they managed to cram it into this particular.
The SE, that screen looks too big to be SE screen though. Maybe.
Well, I mean, you got to
can't
remember the
tell.
screen would probably be about the size of an
Yeah,
SE.
it's what 3.5.
Yeah, like
can't
remember the
remember.
Lumia was small.
Yeah.
Like it was pocketable, believe it or not.
I think
so
it was
yeah,
4 inches, wasn't
Jason would know about.
It was
4
about
inches.
it was
Jason,
about 4 inches.
So basically, what they did here is they took the outer shell of the front glass. They re-laminated the iPhone's LCD screen onto the Lumia's front glass, ditching the capacitive buttons at the bottom. They put the iPhone's camera inside Lumia's big bump on the back, using the extra space to put a working Touch ID sensor and home button back there too.
Interesting, on the back of the phone. Good
Yeah.
idea. Who would
They
have thought of
plugged
that?
a plugged up headphone jack because they just don't work anymore, and they mapped Lumia's dedicated camera button as an additional volume down key on the iPhone, so it could functionally work as a shutter button while the camera is open.
Okay, so it's a little more
That's pretty
ingenious
fucking
than
cool.
that.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you. So here is. Let me see if I can see the back of it. Here is the front again. Another example.
Again, why?
I don't know. And why
They were
that
bored and because they
wallpaper?
could. That's
Yeah,
usually
'cause they
like
could.
90% of these projects.
Now, were you a fan of the Windows Mobile devices when they were out?
I've never actually
Oh, I
used
loved
them.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
you never used one? Oh, I love the tiles. They
Yeah.
were so amazing. It was unique.
So there's a launcher.
Devin, why are you
for
laughing?
Android.
You didn't like
No.
them?
Oh, they were so amazing. I may or may not have worked for Microsoft during the peak Windows
During the
Phone
heyday?
era, and it took a very, very long time for me to finally get rid of my last Windows Phone.
That was one of my wife's first smartphones when we had Verizon back in the day. I got her, I don't know which one it was. And I kind of found it in a drawer the other day. I turned it on, but it wasn't worth turning on.
No.
Unfortunately.
Now, so there is an Android launcher. I forget the name of it. It might
Yes.
be Windows launcher, I think, on the Play Store, and it does give similar functionality with the tiles. I mean, obviously, it's not the same,
It's
but
not-
I wish Sam was on because Sam would talk all about this. But this was like their OS was beautiful. It was clean, easy to read, easy to navigate. It had an amazing thing. Why you would take an iPhone and ruin it?
Well, it's already ruined. You can't do
I
much
know.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to just be because of the hardware. Like, I want
Yeah.
to use this hardware with an actual functioning phone
But
that I
couldn't
can
you
actually use.
couldn't you have just taken the old hardware and put Android on it? Wouldn't that have been a hell of a lot easier? I'm sure someone could have
was-
figured out. It
That
probably
was
already
kind
has
of
been
my
done.
thought. Why would you go with an iPhone?
was
You would
the-
think.
What was the phone? I think it might have been HTC where you could dual boot. You could do Windows and Android on
Oh,
a
yeah.
device. It
HD2?
was-
The HTC HD2, legendary
That's
phone.
the one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So they had a dual boot like purpose. It could be done.
Interesting.
So
I don't think it was ever
ever.
official though. I think like just people just kept hacking stuff onto it because they could.
Doing it.
All right, so Devin is gonna take his old Lumia and he's gonna figure out how to do it. He's gonna do some hacks and some mods and try to make it work. Listen, I think it's a great idea. Like, why not repurpose some of that hardware that was pretty good? Like you said, back in 2008, 6, 4, I forget when it was.
12.
Whatever
Yeah,
that
it wasn't
phone was.
4.
One. That camera was like one of the best cameras you
It
could
was so
find
good.
in a smartphone,
I'm
right?
pretty sure the iPhone came out in 2007, didn't it?
Now that was
So this-
pre-iPhone, no?
No. Windows Mobile came out
No,
after.
it's afterwards.
Windows Mobile. Well, I mean, it depends on what you consider like the first.
Not the
iteration
old
of
school Windows Mobile, the newer
to be.
version
Yeah,
of
no.
tiles.
But
Yeah,
yeah, like that. So what you were looking at there, that was all like Windows 8 Mobile, which was in that 2012 to 2014 type of area.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, speaking of a phone that was using Windows Mobile, like the shitty version, not the Lumia version. It was
almost looks like Windows XP.
it was a Samsung phone and it had a keyboard at the bottom. It looked like a BlackBerry. What was that called? I'm just trying to quickly Google it now.
There was a handful of them.
There was a
I had a,
handful.
look, back in the day, I had a.
Blackjack. This is the one right here.
I want to say 1996, 97. I had a Windows CE like netbook thing, and it had like a black and white or black. It was a monochrome screen, and it was portable, and it was terrible.
This one here, which is the Samsung Blackjack, that was one of my favorite phones ever made. And
Really?
it still is one of my favorite phones ever made. It had probably the worst OS of a phone you could possibly ever give any device. But the hardware, the buttons, the feeling.
Now hold on, Microsoft Kin had probably the worst software.
Oh, wait, let me see if I can pull that.
Sorry,
one up.
Devin. I know you worked for them at that time too, didn't you?
No, yep.
They were focused around Facebook before Facebook was big.
Man.
Oh, this one
Yeah,
here.
I feel like Microsoft at that time period was like so close to so many things.
They still are.
They are, and they're just always so close. They
The
just never
Duo,
get
the
there.
HoloLens, like
Oh my gosh.
they're so
Right?
close and they give up, But
Yeah.
it's all about money. It's a business at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and Apple and Samsung dominate the U.S. and North America. They just do.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but
But it's I just found that article just made me laugh this week because I appreciate somebody that kind of goes above and beyond and goes, you know what? I'm going to see if I can take an iPhone that I don't use anymore. No, I'm just going to cram it into a phone that I loved before. Like, you're going to take, that's kind of some ingenuity, some shit that people just don't think about, right? Now, the other big story this week, and probably the worst kept secret. Now, this is the worst kept secret primarily because this is a Google move. So the Nothing Phone 3A has literally leaked itself.
they do that on purpose, though. That's
100%.
Yeah, he does
So-
those things on purpose.
We know that Nothing has a new device coming out. Apparently, the
A new
3A
mid-range device right now.
Apparently, the 3A and 3A Pro. I didn't realize
Yes.
there was a Pro coming, so that's interesting. What do you guys? A lot of chatter online about the design. I'll start with you, Jason. Love it, hate it, burn it to the ground. What are we thinking here?
I don't know if the 3A Pro is going to be available in the U.S. Kind of like the 2A Plus. I don't think it's ugly. I think it's unique. I think people, every phone looks exactly the same. This phone doesn't look the same. I think Nothing's got a great OS. Oh, I shouldn't say OS. UI over there, or user interface over Android. And the difference I've heard between the 3A and the 3A Pro is the periscope zoom, which, of course, do you guys see the video about them running around with an iPhone? I mean, I don't know how much I take that with you, but I think it's good. If you're in a mid-range, it's going to have a 7 Gen 3 or something. I don't know. I think if it's $300-$400 maybe max, I don't think it's a bad phone. But if you're pushing $500-$600, people are going to say, well, the 16E's out there, or the 13R, or the Samsung FE if they have a new one coming out. So I don't hate it. I think Nothing phones are good. But for me personally, I probably won't jump on the A bandwagon. I am more interested in the 3, like the full-fledged 3 that comes out later on.
Interesting. What about you, Devin? Love it or hate it?
I mean, as far as design goes, I love that they keep like changing it up. There's part of me that's like, oh, but it like the original, Nothing phone was so iconic and just like you don't want it to change. But then every new if it was just the same every single time, man, it would get old really, really fast.
Like what companies are doing that?
I'm just gonna say the damn thing. Damn it.
Right? Like this makes me, now that they keep doing, like I really just would love to have every single one of their phones sitting up on a shelf. Like this is a museum piece, like just in the making. They're creating these different artwork. You might not like what that looks like. You might not want to carry that with you, but I love that they're doing.
You're going to
different
stick
stuff
out in a crowd for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know what I feel like Nothing's doing with their design? They're creating their so imagine like 10, 15 years in the future, we're going to look back at Nothing and they're going to be like kind of like the LG of our time now. Where they're throwing shit out there and just kind of seeing what sticks, right?
You're 100% right, because LG had the what was the one that kind of curved?
The The Curve. I think it was called
Was it the
Curve.
Curve? I had both of them. They overheated like a mother, but they were unique. And I think you made a good point, Devin. Like the look, Apple is synonymous with keeping things the same because that's what people want. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Google even kind of changes the bar and the visor a little bit. But we'll talk about this later. Michelle, what he thinks about this? But it's interesting because we know that the iPhone coming out might look very similar to another device as well. But we'll cross that.
We'll get to that shortly. But Michelle, are you impressed by this? I mean, I know we didn't talk specs, but just really quickly before Michelle answers. So apparently, Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, 6.7-inch, 120 hertz AMOLED display. 50 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and apparently a 3x periscope lens on the Pro model, I believe.
Did you say 8 megapixel ultra wide?
That's what it says here.
Ooh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
But a 50 megapixel selfie camera
on
the Pro. So that's kind of interesting. So, Michelle, what do you feel? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Should we just take them all and burn them before they come out? What are we thinking?
So I'm of like two minds here. Like one, I still love that they're going with their faux transparent aesthetic here. Like it looks very industrial and it's definitely very unique. Like if you take this out, it'll definitely turn heads. People are like, what phone is that? It's very iconic, something you instantly recognize from a distance. Kind of like the Pixel camera bar. I go out and I instantly recognize a Pixel when I see it from afar. And that's the kind of design that nothing is achieved with their phones. The other aspect is the camera bump. Like, if you want something to like look good, you kind of want like a symmetrical camera design, like something that looks, but like it's kind of hard to, I don't really understand what's going on with the camera bump, the placement of the cameras. It's probably more functional than it is aesthetic, but they have some unique, like cool aspects. Like the two top cameras are like this little island. You have the big periscope jutting out from like the side. Maybe it looks better if you actually physically hold it in landscape mode and hold it up. I don't know. It's something I'd have to like see in person. But I do like overall what they're going for.
Well, synonymously, the A series has less glyph interface. That's why there's only like 3 LEDs. The 3 will have like a million more. I don't know. To me, it comes down to price. Is this going to be $600? Absolutely no go for me. If it's $500 or less, maybe okay. That's a mid-range price, but there's so many. That's a tough segment with the 9A heading out soon. It's going to be a tough go for that range.
I mean, so you've got a Snapdragon 7S Gen 3. That's got to be that sub $400, right?
It should. I mean, we would hope so. I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be $499
for the Pro.
For the
okay, that makes maybe.
I think for the non-Pro, I think they're going to go $599 for Pro.
It was $499 for the non-Pro. That's too much.
That's too much.
Yeah.
But all prices have gone up.
Well, hold on. They also got the CMF Phone 1. They have I'm sure they're going to come up with the CMF Phone 2. They're not making any money off those phones, but the CMF 1 was an amazing device for the $199, $220, whatever. I could not. That was, I think I labeled it as my favorite budget phone of the year. That thing blew I'm thinking it's going to be junk. And the cameras weren't great by any means, but for $200, I recommend it to everybody if it was actually able to work on all carriers in the U.S. That was the downside.
So someone posted this on X this week about the design. So just talking about the design again for a second.
I think I know what you're talking
Apparently, it's inspired by the golden ratio. And I want to show you this. So I am not going to break this down because I am by no means an expert here. But apparently this is what inspired the design, these proportions found in nature, architecture, and art. Now, this is not posted by nothing, so I can't confirm this. But, the golden spiral, the golden rectangle, these all sound really cool. I have no idea if any of this is true. If anybody's watching at home right now, let us know in the comments. Apparently, this is what inspired the design. And if that's the case, cool. I kind of like it.
Oh, come on. That guy worked for nothing. He's just...
honestly, I have no idea.
They're trying to justify that hideous design.
Yeah. But you notice that's a trend that's happening a lot now. So every design is inspired by something. So remember the Honor Magic 7 Pro had that moonstruck fucking design on the back, and then like
Oh, you're right. The triple planetary, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so there's always like a wanky marketing term that we hear just to kind of like, you know, make
Wanky marketing. We got to coin that term.
Wanky
Marketing.
that, you know, is meant to sell more phones. Because
But here's the
someone
problem.
Yeah.
Everyone complains that slab phones are boring, and they are. How can you make a slab phone that much better? Nothing's doing it with CMF and this. CMF, you can add these little trinkets to that screw in, and then you've got nothing. It has weird lights that light up, which is really stupid probably, but people like it. And my daughter's got a Nothing phone too, and she loves making her own ringtones and having the lights. She can set the lights to whatever she wants. I mean, her friends probably all have iPhones, but it doesn't matter. I mean, to me, it's like, what else can we do to make phones more unique?
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know.
Now, speaking of, I'm sorry, I'm just reading about some of the what people think about this Nothing Phone 3A, and people are not happy.
No.
There are a lot of people who do not like the Nothing Phone design there.
I'm
but-
okay with it, honestly. But
So,
whatever.
Jason, you brought this up earlier on. Apparently, we're going to see some new look for the iPhone as well.
It was our thumbnail.
It was our thumbnail. That is correct.
Yeah.
So I'll pull up. This is just a mock-up, I'm assuming, but this is what allegedly we might get design-wise.
You know, the general public, you know, Michelle made a good point. Like, he can look at someone and say, oh, they got a Pixel or they've got an iPhone, you know, basically.
Yeah.
But with something like this, is Apple doing it on purpose so people really can't tell what they're using anymore? I don't
That
know what
looks
the
hideous.
reason.
I know.
No, I think the mock-up we had on a thumbnail looks a lot better.
Hang on, maybe
But
this one. Hang on.
no.
Did this come from Front Page Tech? Because I do remember. I think
the thumbnail did.
Yes.
I did, yeah. But this
I
one,
think
don't
Mark
did.
Gurman said it was not true.
I hope not.
Okay.
Apple
I
needs
would
to stay away
be
from Google
shocked.
design as much as
Like,
possible.
I would be fucking shocked. I think we're probably going to see something a bit more like this one. Let me show you this one here. Hang on.
You better not be showing that. Okay.
No, I think
I'll
we're going
give
to
it
see
a roll
something
clip.
a bit more like this. Yeah, just roll clip.
That
So I
still
think
has
we'll-
that iconic iPhone like camera layout on the back.
Yes.
This is more believable.
So I think we might get a bar,
But why?
Pixel-esque bar. I have no idea. Maybe
Yeah,
for
I don't know.
space for the camera. I have no idea.
How often can you say that Google started a trend?
I know, right?
Do you remember
I
the
know.
Pixel 6, was it 6 that Huawei made? The Panda phone that had the bar at the top? God, I love
The
that
Nexus
phone so
6P,
much.
yeah.
The Nexus
Oh my
6P,
God,
right?
that thing was amazing. That had a bar. It
Well,
did.
you got a Panda look right here. So I would buy that phone just
No,
for the
you wouldn't.
design. Yes, I would. The white on black or the black on white, I'd love it. Now, I think this is probably more likely to what we're probably going to get for the iPhone 17. I think they will change up some design elements. Will we get a bar?
So was the thumbnail more the what's the thin, the Air? That the mock-up
Yes.
for the Air?
Yeah.
Now that looks more Pixel-esque, I think.
Hang on. I'll try and find a decent photo of that one. I know you had it here. If I can find a decent picture. Hang on a second.
I'm kind of interested in what the Pixel 9a is going to bring. That looks like a Pixel device to me.
That's
Almost
this-
like the 6P.
Yeah, that's apparently the 17 Air. That's allegedly what it's supposed to.
Yeah, Front Page Tech did that one.
Yeah. Michelle, is it derivative?
How much
I
different can
don't
you
know
make?
what I would call this.
Garbage?
I don't believe it.
I don't
Oh,
either.
Okay.
But what are you going to say when you're sitting in your house and there's a September rolls around and they're doing a one, you know, and they're like, here's a new iPhone 17 and it looks like this. I mean, are people going to be, iPhone people going to be like, oh no, we didn't copy, and an Android guys like, oh, you copied. You know, typical, they copied us, we copied them. But what would you say if that was actually the device? I mean,
Yeah.
what's your impression of that?
I mean, it doesn't look bad. Like I think
No,
it
it
kind of
looks
looks
great.
kind of sleek.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
is it? Yeah, I mean that's the thing. What is it going to? Are they going to go down that route? I mean, they have to have a refresh in design. It's been long enough.
Right.
It's not going to be any different software-wise. It's going to be the same.
I really don't think Apple's going to go that far out. I know they're a $1 trillion company, Yeah, they're a $1 trillion company. They're making tons of money. Yes, they've probably lost some money over time with the Vision Pro and some other things, but they're not like dying for money. They have stock, they have investors, and they have a board they have to appease. But do you think they go this dramatic just to sell more
I don't
phones?
know, man.
I don't
I
think
mean,
so.
I'm going to be honest with you. What I would like to see them do is kind of what the alleged Pixel 9a is going to do. It's something
All
like
flat.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like go with a
Well,
flat
that doesn't show a flat.
Samsung.
That doesn't show a flat back on that.
I
If you
think
look
it
at
is. It's just probably
It's
a bad
basically
image.
flat.
Yeah. So I maybe they'll go with no more camera, like make it more flush. I don't know. Like
That's what concerns me about the Pixel. I think this looks beautiful, but what concerns me without the bump, you're sacrificing space inside the phone, less
Yeah.
heat, less cooling, less battery. I don't know, but I don't know what it's going to run. It's going to be it's Tensor G4 probably. So I don't know if the G4 is really synonymous with overheating. I never had problems with my 9 Pro XL, but 9 Pro XL is also a lot bigger device. So I don't know.
But
I'm
you
not
know,
a
you-
fan
Yeah.
of like this flush back, just because it nowadays you kind of associate these like big protruding camera bumps as like a premium device.
yeah,
Now this kind of just feels like a budget phone,
yeah,
right?
It
Yeah.
does,
The
yeah.
previous
Oh, yeah.
A series phones had the same camera bumps as their more expensive siblings, but like this just feels like it's cheap. It looks like it's cheap.
You know what that like this render here. I feel just continue with what Michelle said there. I feel like that should have a rubber back when I see this. It should be like a rubber silicone build on the back just because it looks so cheap. Like I didn't like the 8A design. I hated the fucking 8A. I thought it was such a step down in quality from what they were trying to do. I thought the 8A was the last one. I'm shocked that we're getting a 9A.
I know, so am I.
Like, I can't believe we're getting a 9A.
I actually think the mid-range segment's heating up. That's why you see Apple jumping into it again. Motorola's been there forever. I think it's heating up. But I think I don't know. Here's the problem. If you're on the Android side, you're not going to buy the iPhone 16. You're going to buy this if you want a mid-range or the Nothing 3A. You're going to buy something on the Android side. If you're an Apple fan, you're not going to touch this device. So it's not going to win anybody over. That's the problem. How do you win somebody over from the other camp? My issue is iPhone wants to take over the world. They want everyone running an iPhone. But to me, that's not how the world should work. We want competition. We want I want options. And with Android, you can buy any company you want with any UI and enjoy the phone, but all the Android stuff works together. I always say it, what was their old adage? Be together, not the same. But with Apple, you're all the same. I don't want to be like everyone else. I just don't. I mean, look at me. Obviously, I'm not, but I'm...
Now, we've had a lot, like these are just, we don't know for sure if that's what we're going to get with the 9A. It could be. Michelle might know, or he's probably got it in his hand. That's probably the phone is on his desk right now. I mean, we wouldn't, maybe he knows more than we do. But again,
he has a 17 Air in his hand. Is that what he has, a 17 Air?
yeah, I kind of wish, especially with Google, why can't the 9 be the budget device, the 9 Pro be the premium device, and the 9 Fold or 10 Fold or whatever it's going to be their folding device? Why do you need a 9A? Just make the 9 the budget device. Like
it might go that way. It might go that way.
Yeah.
I think we need to XL because I like the bigger screen.
Yeah.
Because you obviously get a bigger battery, and Tensor's known not to be the greatest at battery life. I mean, I'm hoping it gets better every iteration, which it has. So
yeah,
I'm interested in what the G5 is going to bring.
Nothing.
I haven't
Not
heard
until
anything really.
Not until they switch to the TSMC,
Which
or
is
whatever.
supposed to be not next year.
Next year,
Yeah.
2026, right? Michelle, you got that right?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember which run it's rumored to be. It might be G6 or
I couldn't
G5. I
remember.
don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're almost getting to the end here, but I want to kind of rewind because I know that we talked about this on a previous show, and now it's actually coming to fruition. So you may remember about 5 episodes ago, it might have been the end of last year, we started talking about this robot that had muscles and skin, and it was just a torso when we talked about it last time. Now, here we are with the creepiest possibly thing you can see. Let me pull up the video. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull it up so we can see it in its full terror.
What was that?
Can you see it?
Nope,
Yeah, we
I
can see
can't see it.
It's not moving.
There it is.
This
Sound
is
is making it
fucking
sound really creepy.
terrifying.
Yeah, the audio is not helping at all.
Yeah, the audio's not helping. I know.
Some indie game dev looking to make a new horror game is like, I'm gonna copy this, make a whole game based off this thing.
Okay, so this proto clone, which is a terrifying name in itself, is
Actually, here is the future of AI. You ready
Yeah.
for this?
Yes.
This is Cassandra from the Netflix show, okay?
Yes.
That's creepy. So, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's so weird.
terrifying. Absolutely.
It is terrifying.
But I forget what I was going to say now. Jason,
Sorry.
Befuddled me. So this robot thing, we talked to, like I said, in the last year, we talked about, and it was just the bottom half the top half,
Yeah.
last time. Now we got a full-fledged working prototype of
But
this.
Darren, it's hanging. It's not even touching the ground. It's just wiggling
Yeah,
around.
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, you're right. It's accelerating very quickly. You're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've talked a lot about AI and robots and stuff last year. And the one thing we all agreed on in 2024 was that the pace at which this was developing was getting faster and faster and faster. We have the brains. The brains is ready to go. They just need the body. And this is the creepiest development of a robot that we've seen with its kind of like muscles. And why is it so fucking jacked? Like, why do we need a fucking robot that can outfight like a human being?
I hope
like,
that guy can spot me at the gym for real.
Like, for real. Like, look at the size of this thing. And it's got to be, what, 6 feet? Given the, like, size and table, like...
Well, and the thing that makes the video weird is, like, we talked about the sound they used behind the back.
Yeah.
It's like, you put that sound to our tech disruptors while we're talking, we'd be a
let's
creepy
play it
show,
again.
too. I mean, what the...
Like, just terrifying, that noise.
I feel like I'm going to watch
Why is it twitching? Like, why is it twitching?
Is it dancing? What is it?
This is just terrifying.
No idea what it is.
Whoever released this video with that sound isn't...
Oh, I know, they're just the worst. But anyway, so this proto-clone robot is some good keeping you up at night. It's been keeping me up at night since I've seen this thing.
I really hope they built in a failsafe like freeze-on motor functions.
Yes.
Well, Darren, right before the show started, we talked about The Office. You remember when they wanted to make
Yes.
a lifelike sculpture, like, give it an extension cord so if it unplugs itself, it
Yes.
turns off.
So you know what I imagine? I honestly feel like this is it. I don't know if you remember The Simpsons when it was one of their Halloween episodes, and Bart gets a doll and there's a switch on the back that just says evil and good. I almost feel like that's about as complicated as like these robots are going to get. There's just going to be a switch that can just easily be switched on and off.
Well, look, I talked about the Cassandra show, and that was about... I'll give you a brief... It's a dubbed show in the U.S. because it's not made here. And it's about like a smart home from the 70s, like literally the 1970s, like the first smart home ever. And his wife's dying, so they take her consciousness and they put it into an AI, and it is...
I'm going to watch that.
Parts cool. It's a really good show. Like, flashes back to when the mom was like raising her kids. It is dark.
Yeah.
It is dark and creepy, and God, it's weird. But you gotta, it's so stupid. You gotta watch it. I mean, it's
one of those things. Now, last but not least, I know we like to. We don't talk about movies and TV shows all that much on this, but I think it's time we do.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready for a world famous film franchise to go completely down the crapper? Because I can tell you right now, this is it. I couldn't believe myself.
I saw this.
When I read this week, my heart sunk. I thought to myself, we're going to get some fucking woke version of James Bond that's going to ruin 50 years of, a movie franchise. Amazon.
Look, I love it. Next 007 may receive intel via Echo Buds and
And a
Kindle
Kindle
Fire.
Fire, yeah. My God.
You know
Why?
what,
How
Like a
did
fire
this
phone.
happen?
Wasn't
Yeah.
there? Yeah, he uses the fire phone. Wasn't there another thing where they said they're reaching out to subscribers or customers who should be the next 007?
Yeah. Listen, we already know this. It should be Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill should be
Hell
007.
yeah,
For
he
the
should
love
still
of
be
God.
Superman. Be honestly, he was a badass.
He should be
Superman.
both. He should be Superman and
Yes.
James Bond combined into one.
And
film.
Batman.
You call
Should
it
make him all-
Super Bond. Okay, like, yeah, like I saw this and I thought to myself, I know Amazon's got tons of money and they must have paid a fucking fortune for this. I wish can I find how much they paid?
Can't Bezos just fly to the moon some more times instead of making 007?
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. I'll be honest. The last couple 007s weren't that great. I watched them, and it's kind of like Apple. Aren't they all kind of the same? Like Mission Impossible, they get old after a while, don't they? I mean, how many Transformers, Fast and Furious, Terminators, how many movies can you make of all the same genre? I mean, seriously.
Well, you want to know a crazy number here? They paid over $1 billion for the rights to Bond.
Well, we offered 1.5 million. But
I know we got turned down. Well, I mean, our pitch was also for Jason to be Bond, so you know, like,
they're like, who the hell is
they
that
didn't go
dude?
for it. So Amazon is potentially, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us. Who knows?
Look,
But
they do have the show called what the Gen Z and
yeah, and the
The Boys. It's an
yeah,
amazing
The Boys,
show.
yeah. But that's writers. That's the writers of the show. That's got nothing to do. This is just Amazon.
It's just like baseball. The LA Dodgers have all the money in the world, and they have an unlimited amount of money to make the best team in the world. If Amazon has the most amount of money to hire the best writers, they could have a hit on their hands. We don't know.
Maybe. As long as they don't turn it into a fucking TV show. If they turn it into a TV show,
series?
I am burning all my streaming devices in a pile in my backyard.
You know it's coming.
Yeah, I know it's
it's
coming.
coming.
That's the sad.
Isn't that like the Reach? Isn't what
007,
Reacher,
The Rings of Power.
yeah. Their TV
Yeah, that's
shows are not great on Amazon. This is the point, right? Like there's not a lot of great programming there.
There isn't. I honestly, there's only a couple shows I watch.
Besides The Boys, I didn't even finish Gen X.
That was good too. I think that was good too. It's like a prequel. They're gonna merge. I'm telling you.
At some point, yeah. Anyway, so that's the world in tech this week, guys. That actually brings us to the end of today's show. Michelle, you're a legend, mate. We love having you on. And we know you've got a little bit of insider knowledge and some of these things, so we're gonna have to get you back on really soon. We're dying to know what the device is. Maybe he'll let it slip off the air. I have a funny feeling I know, but I won't say it just yet. Kevin, always a pleasure. Jason, thanks very much for joining us again. Other Tech Disruptors, you can catch us on YouTube, Amazon Music, what?
Right next to James Bond.
I know, my brain is just I'm
Darren, the
transfixed
good
now.
news is we didn't do a live stream birth today, so that's the good news.
That's true.
My wife,
Jace.
the baby stayed in today during the live stream, so hopefully next week I'll have something in my hand while we live.
Because she is due now, right?
She was due yesterday.
Oh, okay. So it could have happened live on the show, but it didn't. So
Yeah, I was like, honey, can you come down and watch the live stream? So just in case you go in labor, we can be right here to watch. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Listen, Devin had hot towels and a wire snip ready to go. So he was ready to
wire
go.
snip. What the?
Yes.
What are you?
To cut that umbilical cord.
That's
right?
not, you get some scissors, man. You don't need a wire snip.
I'm gonna say machete,
Darren,
but I wasn't sure if you had.
I hope
it.
you're not getting your doctor device from YouTube because
Listen, I
Pull out
told
a
you when I
chainsaw.
had my vasectomy. I'm not joking. My doctor's his website was Dr. Vasectomy. I'm not even.
it wasn't
making that
Elon
up.
Musk with the chainsaw.
Yeah. So I didn't even show that clip today. I was going
I know,
to.
it's
Check
not-
that one
that's-
out
yeah.
in your own time. But,
Yeah.
we are the Tech Disruptors. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple, all the great places you find amazing podcasts, Good Pods, all those places. Please like, subscribe, check us out, and also check out all these lovely gentlemen you see on your screen right now and their respective gigs. They all have a lot going on as well, and we appreciate you joining us on this lovely Sunday afternoon. We will be back next week, usual time, usual place, and thanks everybody.